Right, hello, welcome back. Tonight we're going to be trying to tie a little possum emerger. It's a grey mayfly imitation or a hatching mayfly imitation. Real buggy. They're tied out of possum. For those of us here in New Zealand, they're a pest. They do a lot of damage, so it's great to put them to good use. And I was lucky enough to have a mate pass me on some possum pelts, skins, from a lady up in Turangi. Being a natural material, they range quite a bit in colour. You can see it's darks and gingery colours like I've used here, and greys, and right out to really dark and really white as well. But it's a fun pattern, a good one to use when the mayflies are hatching. We'll crack into it and see how we go. Hopefully you enjoy it, and hopefully you enjoy fishing them. Right, got our hook in the vise. I'm using a grip hook, 11011 barbless, number 12, or size 12. I usually tie them a bit smaller, but for the sake of filming, makes that side easier, so we'll go with this size for this one. And they still work at that size, so I had a little bit of luck with them, but generally I prefer to go a bit smaller. For the thread, using the Semperfli Nano silk, cutting it a little bit fine. Hopefully we'll see it through to the end with this spool, but see how we go. And anyway, as with all flies, you want to start your thread base. Nothing overly special here, just get it winding back. And it's just going to give you something to tie onto, and won't slip around as much once you've got everything on there. Easy, just get rid of your tag end. Okay, now I'm going to use the same possum skin as I used to begin with. It's sort of a gingery colour. You can see there's a lot of variation in the, there we go, it's better, a lot of variation in the colour through it as well. You get towards the head, it goes sort of a greyer colour, but we'll use this for today. Now for the tail, you only need a very, very small amount. You want to make sure it's got those guard hairs in it, because they're what you want for the tail. You're just going to snip that away. I'll go into it a bit more, but you can see we've got a bunch there. You just want to pull out any of the under fur, and that should just slide out from your fingers. Now don't throw that away, because that is our dubbing. Now for the tail, do just so the longest ones are about out at a length of the hook shank. I'll just pull a few more out from there, because there's more than I want for the tail. You really only want a small little bit. It's going to look like that sort of trailing shuck behind it. Once you've got it, you can just get it in there. So I'm just trying to work my way around the light here, just trying something different tonight with the lighting, but whether or not it stays here is another question, but slightly in the way. But you just want to get that wrapped in there. And it should just stick out there. Again, it's just going to be that tail, and just wind that up. And get rid of the little tag end. Righty, next up, just going to tie the wire for our ribbing. I'm using very, very light wire, 0.1 mil. Should be offset by the fur itself in this fly, and just like any other one, just tied it on the side there, so I could end up just on the top, ready to be wrapped around. Let's get in there and just build up a slight bit of a taper. Now, you don't have to have the wire in there. I like it, it gives it that sort of segmented look, and yeah, just get that back out of your way, and we'll move on to doing the body. Just to demonstrate, I've actually got a fair bit of this left over from when I tied a couple the other day. But so for the dubbing, for the body, you just want to use under fur. You can see it's pretty bushy, got all the guard hairs sticking out the top, or you got all this fluff down the bottom. You can just pull that out. That's what we're going to use for our dubbing. Just a little dab of wax on there, just to help hold it on. Yeah, just take some of that under fur we pulled off earlier. You just want to, like any other dubbing, you just want to get it on there as a noodle. It can be a little bit non-compliant. I want to dub a bit thicker than I usually like, but you just keep working it and always roll your fingers the same way. And it's just going to slowly and surely get a nice tight dubbing noodle. Let's build it. Just keep going until you get it how you want it. And then again, like all flies, just keep that excess thread nice and short. The shorter you have it at this point, the easier it is to control it and get it to do what you want it to do. And you're going to start building up that body to a nice cone shape. You come up a bit shorter than you planned, that's alright, these things happen. And just get yourself another little noodle going. Now when we wrap that wire around, it's going to help push it all down, hold it down as well. More control to it, and the second part, because we're onto a fatter part of the body, it's okay to go with a bit more of a thicker noodle, if you will. There we go. And just counter wrap. Now that wire we tied in before, just going to pull it all down, give it a really nice segmented look, and try to keep it as even as you can, but generally as I go up, I let the gap between that wire get more. And it's just going to hold it all in for a bit of strength, and yeah, enjoy that. Little short wire, thin wire is, you can just snap it off. And now we get into the tricky part. I ain't gonna focus. There we go. You can see it's got that little tapered shape to the body. Then we'll move on to the wing and the rest of the body. Alright, now we'll just get a little bit of through base here, and I like to use it as a marker so I know where I'm going to tie it in. So you want to get it about half an eye length away from the end there. It's just going to give you some room to tie it off at the end. Now another little bit of possum here. Just prepared it in between shots. I pulled out all the underfur. There's still a fair bit in there. That's quite alright. So I'm going to twist that around. Now this is going to form all the scraggly legs at the head. You just want to work out how far you want it in. A couple eye lengths is about all you want from the sort of longest little bit of guard hair there. And you can play with it. Yeah. I'm just going to tie it in. Back. It's as easy as that. Now when we get, I'll show you this now, I've not got everything in the way. When we get to the end, we're just going to use our thumbnail to get under there. which will split it out. And we're going to end up tying it out so it looks like the little legs, the emerging mayfly and all the other stuff that comes off it during that process. Alright. Alright, for this next part I actually like to go with a bit of a darker fur. We're only going to try to use the very tips to help keep adding to that bugginess of it all. But I'll get some prepped up. We'll crack on into it now. My understanding is these flies are pretty popular over in Aussie with our friends over there. In particular, I've heard a lot of reference to it with Tasmania, and it does quite well there, but only a hop, skip and a jump. It's worked well for me here as well. Generally I'll tie it off the back of a more visible sort of parachute fly, like a Para-Adams or anything with a bit of a high-vis post to it. I just put a couple feet behind there. I mean, you can fish it without, but I like to have that extra little bit of visibility. And you take some with more of a guard hairs and you just wrap that on again, just like we did before, but go a little bit looser. You just want it all sticking out a bit, and it takes some work to get it to stick on there sometimes. It's just the nature of it. And you just keep winding and winding and winding. I think it does float pretty well, but it's a natural material, it's going to absorb water, so usually I apply a little bit of floatant. Take your pick as to what that may be, but yeah, just gives it a little extra little bit. Just fluff it a bit so you've got stuff sticking out. Once you've got it on there, so you can start building up this next part of the body. And it's not a whole lot darker, but it usually just provides just that little difference between the body and the rest of it. I think I'm a little bit short for the amount I wanted, so I'll just take a little bit more and just trim it away from the body of that possum. Sorry, I keep drifting off as I try to pay attention to what I'm doing here, but let's get another noodle going there. It doesn't hurt as well. I'm just going to little tweak just to put one behind there, which gets rid of that seam. Is there a word I can think to call it between the materials? Yeah, get rid of all the leftover crap. Now, left for the tag end of that part, and this here is going to be our wing, which are going to fold over so it looks almost like a little bowl. Little merging wings. Once I got it, get it up there and get it tied in. It's going to stick up, but that's exactly how we want it. And you just want to trim away as much as you can. The last little bit. There might be a little bit there, but sorry, out of focus again as I get my big old hands in the way, but you didn't miss much. You just trim away the little taggy end there. And then we're just going to push this all up, get your fingernail in under there, which gets it going. This is all just going to stick back like legs floating away. And just start building up your head again. It's going to take a little bit of work to tie it in. You'll get a few scraggly bits sticking out, but it is quite alright. And there you have it. It's a messy little number, but to be honest, I quite like a lot of my flies like that. You just try to pull back some of the scrappy bits. They're sticking out, and they'll eventually start to do what you tell them. And yeah, it's a handy little number. And just get our whip finish going. like all of them, play with the colours and the materials. I was lucky to get some of those skins, but you can still get possum strips from most stores. A range of colours, natural and a few funkier ones as well, so have a play and like it can be quite cool putting some peacock in there, or a bit of flash instead of the wire, or Antron or CDL for the tail. But have a play, see how you go. It's a handy little number. As always, love to see what you've whipped up yourself if you've followed along with this, and if you do, by all means tag me in any photos you share. Love to see them, and happy time, all the best.